Hello viewers, Tim Poole here, editor of Gambling Insider and Gaming America, and I'm here with Chairman Morgan of OIGA, the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association. Chairman Morgan, thanks for joining us.
Appreciate the invitation.
So it's an honor to speak with you, and just wanted to kind of open the floor to you to see if you could tell us what the latest is, just very generally, kind of Oklahoma tribal gaming updates.
Sure. Oklahoma, we continue to be, in my opinion, a leader in electronic gaming, especially Class 2 electronic gaming. We have 38 tribes, 33 are operating gaming facilities, around 134 gaming specific properties in Oklahoma. But we're also one of the jurisdictions that have yet to take on sports betting. So that has taken up a lot of our time in the last couple of years, trying to come to an agreement with the state on what sports betting may look like in Oklahoma. While we've seen a lot of our regional competitors being able to offer that to their players. So that's really, I think, in terms of what we're looking at is digesting still sports betting, and then as people take up these other forms of gaming as well that are proliferating across the country, have started to take up time in addition to just sports betting in general.
Mm-hmm. Those additional forms of gaming we will discuss. We'll get onto them. Have you had any interesting recent conversations with the governor, perhaps?
So not with the governor, but we have had some really great conversations with members of the legislature, both Senator Coleman, Representative Luttrell, Senator Rader, who also had drafted a sports betting bill this year. We've also, had some conversations with additional stakeholders in the state of Oklahoma, both professional sports and collegiate sports in universities on what they would like to see in terms of, what sports betting may look like and who are those stakeholders that need to be able to participate in the benefits from those, while at the same time trying to talk with our law enforcement and tribal regulatory communities on making sure that we're doing the best job we can of keeping illegal activity out of the state.
So we're sat obviously at OIGA 2025, but later in the year we have the OIGA show. What can you tell us about this year's show and what we might be able to expect?
So every year in Oklahoma, we really look forward to this show. It's where we get a lot of people that have that are in the gaming industry get to come to Oklahoma, enjoy our hospitality. We'll be in Oklahoma City again this year, July 14th through the 16th at the Oklahoma City Convention Center. And Oklahoma City is always a great town to welcome us in. It's led by Mayor David Holt, who actually is an Osage tribal citizen, so really grasp what we do and for the benefits of the community. We'll have a strong educational session program where we will look at not only, what's affecting our tribal members, nations in terms of, the new federal administration, but also at the state level. Sports betting is going to take up a lot of our conversation space as well. But also we're just looking at new innovations in our industry in general. What's affecting F&B? What are you seeing in the IT cybersecurity world? Because, there's a lot of threats still coming out on that. Are there new things out there that we're seeing through social media and the push, for influences and marketing, and how are you distinguishing your property from your neighbor? Again, because, we have a lot of local competition in Oklahoma. We have always a really robust gaming floor. Our floor is just a little bit smaller than what you see here at OIGA, but for a regional group, it's a really great show. We have everybody from both Class 2 and Class 3 operators, in addition to all the sports betting and the ancillary services that go with it, will come to Oklahoma because, again, we're still trying to get off the ground and launch that, and so they still stay interested in what we're doing there. But we're really looking forward to our show.
Mm-hmm. Plenty to look forward to, as you say, but as we've already touched on, there's a few topics that have been discussed quite heavily this week in terms of the threats posed to tribal gaming, but also to commercial operators already. We're talking kind of DFS 2.0, predictions markets, and sweepstakes casinos. I imagine that's something that takes up at the moment some of your time.
Yeah, it has, I think for a long time, some of this activity has kind of ran underground in a way that a lot of the folks in our industry weren't taking notice. And I think over the last 6 to 9 months, that's really changed. Mm-hmm. And especially in our tribal industry, where we've worked really hard through the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act and negotiating with state governments to really set forth a gaming a legal gaming framework in a way that makes sense for everybody. And now we have these new technologies that are trying to come in and upend some of that. And a lot of them, in our opinion, are just illegal ways to do an end around these agreements that are set forth and have been very productive, not only for our tribal communities but for our state governments as well.
Mm-hmm. It's perhaps the $1 million question, not easy to answer, but how can tribal gaming effectively combat these new threats?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's something I think that we do already in a lot of different areas, is that we're going to work with our partners and really call upon those folks that we have relationships with to make sure that everybody's playing their role. We have the tribal governments and our tribal regulators they have a play within this conversation as well, to make sure they safeguard the tribal assets and make sure they're practicing regulatory authority over their tribal jurisdictions. I think there's, for tribes in Oklahoma specifically that under our gaming compact, the governor has a role that he needs to play, the attorney general, and but also, looking at other state agencies to make sure that, because when they're coming in and they're offering these illegal activities in Oklahoma, they're not only violating our tribal state gaming compact, but they're also violating state gambling laws. And and unless and until we stand up and say that that's enough of it, and there's going to be some consequences, I think we're going to continue to see a proliferation of these type of technologies that are always trying to look at new and innovative ways to approach the subject. And I don't hold any grudge against folks that are trying to be innovative. We're in that market. But you have to do that in a way that is based on the laws and the regulatory frameworks that have been put forth.
Mm-hmm. Well said. And Chairman Morgan, thank you very much for your time. And best of luck with everything you're looking to achieve as well.
Thank you so much for having me.